All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're moving beyond just talking about logos and websites to design something, well, way more important, your income architecture. Think of this as the actual structural blueprint for building a six-figure creative career. So, let's get into it.
Okay, let's kick things off with a truth that might, hit a little close to home. If you've ever found yourself wondering if your skills are good enough, I really want you to let this sink in. It's such a powerful idea because it takes the blame off of you, the creative, and puts it somewhere else entirely.
That is the missing piece. Your talent, that's the amazing raw material. But without a plan, it can be, well, chaotic. To actually turn that talent into a stable financial skyscraper, you need a structure. And you know what? That is fantastic news. Because structure isn't something you're born with, it's something you can learn and build.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to figure out why the old way of doing things is broken. Then, we'll lay out the new 100K blueprint. We'll talk about how you can level up from just a designer to a consultant, how to escape that constant client chase with predictable income, and how to install systems for real growth. And then, we'll lock it all in with one final, crucial mindset shift.
All right, let's dive into section 1. The real problem isn't a lack of talent. It really boils down to two things. Just kind of designing whatever comes your way without a strategy and charging based on what you think you can get instead of what you're actually worth. This is what creates that feast or famine cycle that we all absolutely dread.
Now, this is a huge reframe. We're all wired to think, if I can just get one more client, everything will be okay. But honestly, that's a trap. It keeps you on that client-chasing treadmill forever. The real goal isn't just more clients. It's building a reliable, predictable financial foundation with multiple streams of income.
Okay, on to section 2. This is where we start building. We're going to take that big, kind of scary goal, $100,000, and we're going to break it down into something that feels, well, almost boringly achievable.
Okay, look at this. This is where that 100K number stops being a dream and starts becoming a plan. We're not trying to get it all in one giant chunk, we're building it from 3 different places. The biggest piece, that $60,000, comes from your main freelance projects. Then we add a super stable $24,000 from retainer clients. And finally, a nice little $12,000 bonus from passive products. See? When you break it down like this, it feels so much more manageable.
So, how do we actually get that first 60 grand? Let's zoom in. This table lays out 2 crystal clear paths. Path 1, you land just one high-value $5,000 project every month. Or, Path 2, you take on 2 smaller $2,500 projects a month. Both roads lead to the exact same place. See? It's not about working yourself to the bone, it's about math. It's about being strategic.
And that leads us perfectly into section 3, which is all about the mindset you need to actually charge those prices. This is where you have to make a big shift. From just being a pair of hands that executes tasks to becoming a strategic partner, a consultant.
Okay, this slide right here, this is everything. Just look at the language. On the left, you're selling stuff. Logos, websites, files. Things people can easily compare prices on. But on the right, you're selling assets, brand systems, conversion engines, business infrastructure. You're not selling a task anymore. You're selling a real business result. And that is what clients with real budgets are happy to invest in.
So how do you actually do this? How do you start thinking like a consultant? Well, it boils down to these 4 things. First, stop talking about files and start selling the outcome your work creates. Second, package your services up like products with super clear value. Third, go hang out where the real businesses are, not just the crowded freelance sites. And finally, learn to justify your price based on the massive impact you're going to have on their bottom line.
All right, section 4. This is my favorite part, because this is how we build that foundation of stability. Let's talk about retainers. This is the absolute key to getting off the project treadmill and creating predictable, recurring revenue that pays the bills, month in and month out. So what is a retainer, really? It's simple. Think of it as a total win-win. For you, it's income you can count on and way less anxiety about finding the next project. For the client, it's like having a dedicated design partner on their team without the huge cost of a full-time employee. You become essential. So let's put some real numbers to this. $1,000 a month. That's a totally achievable starting point for a retainer.
And the best part? You don't need a dozen of them to make a difference. You just need 2.
And just like that, you've got $24,000 a year in predictable income. With just 2 clients, you've built a stable foundation for your entire $100,000 structure. This is the real secret to having consistently good months.
But how do you actually land one of these retainers? You're going to love this. You use this exact sentence. Right after you've delivered an amazing project, you plant this seed. You're not just upselling them, you're solving their next big problem before they even know they have it. Seriously, this one sentence creates retainers. Okay, on to section 5. We've got the freelance projects, we've got the retainers. Now, how do we make this all sustainable? Because here's the thing, without systems, talent and hard work will just lead to burnout. We have to move from pure hustle to building repeatable processes that do the work for you.
This is where we build that third piece of the puzzle, passive income. A perfect example, a UI kit. I mean, you're already creating custom buttons, forms, and layouts for your clients. Why not package them up into a reusable kit that you can build once and then sell forever? It becomes an asset that literally generates income while you sleep. Or, how about this one, a brand workbook? So many clients struggle with the strategy part. You can take your discovery process, all those great questions you ask about their brand voice and messaging, and package it into a guide they can buy. It's an infinitely scalable product that also works as a fantastic way to attract new leads because it proves your expertise right up front. But products are just one part of the system. To make it all work together, you really need these 3 core engines running in your business. You need a lead system so clients can find you, a sales system with scripts and templates so you're not winging it on every call, and maybe most importantly, a follow-up system. The money is in the follow-up, and a system means you do it consistently every time. No thinking, just doing. And that brings us to the final section, number 6. And honestly, this is the glue that holds everything else together. It's a fundamental shift in your identity. You're not just a designer anymore, you are a business builder. So, we're going to end right where we started, because this is the single most important thing to remember. Earning 6 figures isn't some lottery you win because you're talented. It's an engine that you build with structure. It's the natural result of packaging your skills, pricing with confidence, and running the systems that move you toward your goal. And that's really the question, isn't it? It's a choice. A choice to move from being a reactive freelancer who's always chasing the next paycheck to being a proactive business owner who is building a durable, profitable, and honestly, a much more enjoyable career. The blueprint is right here. The choice is yours.